Good evening. I am so excited. I am so excited. I am so excited. We have had an awesome time during this Bible study series as we have examined this phenomenal book by Dr. Lisa Allen McLaurin. Listen, this has been such a thought-provoking, educational, enlightening, and spirit-filled time. If you've had an awesome time during this Bible study series, why don't you just show some love right now in the comments? Let our facilitators know. I am so excited on behalf of our amazing 4 churches that have partnered together as a part of the Outliers Collective. That's First Baptist Church of University Park, Peace Baptist Church, New Calvary Baptist Church, and New Hope Baptist Church. I want to say thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us for these 12 weeks as we have examined what are womanist ways of doing worship in 2026. Listen, if you've had an awesome time, we want to invite you to share these videos.
Okay.
Well, welcome in, everyone. So glad that each of you could join us on tonight. 12 weeks ago, we gathered around a book and a question. What does it mean to return home? And tonight, on Resurrection Sunday, we find ourselves on the other side of that question. Tonight is a little different. You won't hear one voice teaching, you'll hear all 4 of the churches.
All of them are here this evening as we tackle the final chapter in Dr. Allen's book. So, if you haven't already, grab your pen and paper because tonight is the night you definitely don't want to miss. At the bottom of the screen, if you're watching this via Facebook Live or YouTube or Instagram, share this video as this is our grand finale and all of our facilitators are going to be dropping major jewels on tonight. Welcome. Let us pray. Most gracious and loving God, we say thank you. Thank you for such a rewarding Bible study series these last 12 weeks. Thank you for all that our eyes have seen, our ears have heard, our spirits have experienced in these moments. And as we get ready now to kick off our final night, we ask now, dear Lord, that your spirit be with us. We ask now, dear Lord, that a word is taught to us that renews our spirit, encourages our heart, and most of all, gives us a transformed mind. Thank you for all that you will continue to do for us. And we ask a special blessing on our Outliers Collective. Be with our amazing pastors in this moment. We thank them for their creativity of spearheading such a wonderful moment in the life of our faith communities. We ask now, dear Lord, that their work won't be in vain. Bless them in a mighty special way. In Jesus' name we pray and we thank you. All right, family. Amen, amen, amen. Let's get started. I turn it now to our facilitators.
Well, good evening, everybody. So glad that you all were able to join us. As Dr. Bahuro mentioned, tonight's going to be a little bit different. You won't just hear 1 or 2 voices. You'll hear from each of us on tonight. And I want to be honest with you, I'm not sure any of us fully knew what we were getting into when we started this series. And I think that's actually what made it so sacred. We showed up in good faith with each of you, with our questions, like each of you, with places in us that were still tender, like each of you. And we were so glad that Dr. Allen was able to meet us there, both in person and with the text. And so we won't belabor the evening any longer. I want to see if we can start by asking the first question to each of our panelists, which is, what feels most surprising or sacred about what emerged for each of you in these 12 weeks? What feels most surprising or sacred about what emerged for you during this 12 weeks?
Well, good evening, Dr. Only. First of all, thank you so very much for the diligent, capable, and competent way in which you have facilitated and given administration and guidance to us throughout this 12 weeks. I know most folk didn't have an opportunity to hear your voice until the final night, at least. All of the gifting that we know as a community that you already bring. So I wanted to just give you a shout out, tell you how much I love you. Shout out all of the conversations, and of course to my brothers who I deeply love and excited about tonight's conversation. I guess the initial question with regard to the chapter or the idea from Dr. Allen's work that was most cherished for me. I don't really think that I can divvy it up. There were so many nuggets with each week. And for me, it was not necessarily so much the delving into the work as it was the work that was being done in our congregation. I'll speak for our congregation. I know as we have talked, similar experiences across the entire collective, but the work and the way in which the people seem to engage the work and how some scales fell from all of our eyes, particularly as it relates to centering our own identity and the value, the worth that actually came in going back and returning home to the ways in which we worship, and not to discard those, to find the power that is and the relevancy that is in our way. I think I found that to be the most encouraging, the most powerful. And then, of course, how it showed up in worship among those who were engaged in the Bible study curriculum, how it would show up on Sundays, where, I know most of your congregations are familiar with some of the language, that resounding culmination of the recitation of Ashe, as we honor our ancestors, but also connect that with spirit. That was seemingly newer for the Congregation of Peace Baptist Church of Washington, D.C. But man, when I tell you to have a prayer and to hear within the room, Ashe, Ashe, boy, spirit moved. We had good. I said, wait a minute, we gonna do that again. So it has been a warm and I think really a genuine and authentic experience of returning home. What I think all of us was hoping to envision, but I'm not going to take up all the time. I'll pitch to Reggie or to Mark. But man, it's been wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a couple of things. First of all, Dr. Lisa Allen McLaurin, just to be in that space and to share in that space was just crazy. It was just good to be in her space and to get that energy and to feel that and to hear the author express the words that were on paper to make it come alive. I think the other piece to talk about the collective, right, which we call affectionately this outlier collective. I think what has been a blessing is that in the journey to what Reverend Bell's talking about is that we have really began, I think, to open some doors to give people permission to embrace their identity and their culture unapologetically and unashamedly. I think that it works better when there are groups of people talking about the same thing. And, there is a support to say, hey, listen, this is a thought that is going out in the world. This is a thought that is going out in religious circles. This isn't just unique to, to one or two people, but to talk about what it is to be connected to our African sense of spirituality, and to reinforce and to give people an understanding and a hope that they never lost it. But the importance of returning to those spaces and embracing those spaces, I think has been incredibly significant for what it is we're doing. The third thing, as I keep it moving, the third thing is to understand I understood womanism, right, such as it was as an academic premise. But for me, the biggest thing pastorally was to see womanism as a pastoral practice. To see womanism as an approach to a pastoral practice, to talk about the levels of inclusion, to talk about those spaces of understanding, to talk about the belovedness of meeting somebody where they are, and talking about, as you, Dr. Only, like to talk about, not a calling out, but a bringing in, a calling in, and letting people be embraced in that. And through those things, to watch these congregations wrestle with their traditions and their idiosyncrasies, but to find space in those places. I think it's grateful. This isn't a cheap plug, but I'm very, very grateful for the stretching of New Calvary, and how they are stretching, and how Dr. Michael Elam came and they've embraced that, how they embrace Dr. Williams, and how they embrace you, Eb, because there isn't a sense of expansion that is really happening, and spirituality is broadening, and I think is a real exciting thing to be a part of.
Ditto. No. I think there's a quote that I can't remember the scholar said it. Said something along the lines of, the journey of a lifetime is to become who you already are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And to be gifted with journeys of New Calvary, New Hope, Peace, First Baptist, and not only becoming who we are, but understanding who we are, right? Particularly in terms of practices, in terms of things that are authentic to us that we've been doing and didn't have language to put to it, but know that it's us. I think that's incredibly affirming.
Yeah.
And incredibly empowering. So I think those are some of the things, even some of the stuff we talked about, Mark, in Indianapolis, when we had to explain kind of what we were doing. I think some of those pieces, I think, have been like the best pieces of these parts for us. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing from each of you about the journey, and what's been revealed, or peeled back in your congregations. This has really never been just about four churches finding common ground. It's been about something older and deeper than that, right? And there was this language of calling in that Mark referred to, not calling out, not confronting from a distance, but drawing near and inviting each other and our congregations into something more whole. And that's a different kind of courage.
Yeah.
Than we usually talk about in church. And what moved me is that each of us have named in our own way that we are also still stretching, still finding language for what we are becoming. And I think that's the most honest thing that can be said about the outliers, as well as about this journey that we have now been able to give name to. Because the journey of a lifetime is to become who you are, Reg. You're right. And what this coalition has given each of us, what these four congregations are stepping toward, has made a different kind of witness possible. a living witness that you don't have to shrink yourself to belong, that there's room in the body of Christ to come home to the fullness of who God created us to be. And that is not a small thing. And so thank you all for your courage, one of coming together, and then to the courage to dig into this work with your congregations.
Yeah. Can I just say real quick that we are looking for individuals, those who are on Zoom and both those who are on Facebook Live, to put their comments in as well. We do want to hear what they feel and what they think and what they've enjoyed, and quite honestly, what they would like to hear more of, or what they would like expanded in these spaces. So please, y'all, hit us up, share in these spaces about how you have felt about these past 12 weeks. It was a labor, but a labor of love to bring it to you. As anybody can figure out, being in churches for 5 minutes, doing this work with 4 churches could take a lot of planning, but we're very, very grateful that it took place.
Yeah, and it ain't over. Like, this ain't the last time we're doing this.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
Real talk.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, that's a good segue, Reg. Where do you all sense the Spirit calling the outliers next, and how do you see the future of what we have started here unfolding for our congregations?
Yeah, for me, and I'm like Mark. This is not a shameless plug, but I really believe that this is ministry actualized, right? So we had a tendency, Eb, you know this, having tried to work with church, we had a tendency to be so parochial and siloed and all of these different things, right? I think by having like-minded ministers, ministries, messages, even with the nuances that are apparent therein, because no church is just like another church, but there are some overarching themes that can be manifest in different contexts that we kind of bring to the table. And I think to be able to do that, one, with the gift of technology, two, with the gift of vision and articulation, I don't see why this can't be a regular occurrence in terms of how we teach, preach, and then bring what we have to our different contexts, right? Um, yes, this is a general kind of piece, but this can also be included in specific studies, right? If we're studying a book of the Bible, if we're studying a book, if we're studying a theme, if we're studying, right? I think it's not meant to be um, uniform, but to be unified.
Mm.
Um, and I think this is a definite way for us. I think this is a great beginning for us to do so.
I would agree with that, man. I think as it relates to casting vision, um, I think that one of the things, to your point, Reggie, though each one of our individual ministries and faith communities do have marked distinctions, I think this is a greater opportunity by which we have, as a community of diverse congregations, to really um, demonstrate, embody, and practice what it actually means to be in community. Right? Bring those diverse distinctions that are among us, but what does it look like in the sense of nation building, in the sense of reconnection, in the sense of returning to a understanding of home and an understanding of self, that we all still find this union, communion, this unity, and in particular with the current context that we're living in. Right? When we're talking about a pervasive politic which is set to divide not just Republicans and Democrats, but even in your little siloed communities, African Americans, diasporic Africans, whatever it is that you want to call yourself, us, right? And try to
Us's.
right, and trying to divide those. I think it is critically important for us to find ways where our communities are able to come together, um, and reclaim the identity that has. I'm trying my best not to quote the lyrics of the Negro National Anthem, but
Do it, Reverend. Do it. Do it.
but to take us, along those paths which
Right.
tread through the blood of the slaughter. I refuse to give away. Stop, Rick. I refuse to give away, and I do believe that our people refuse, see the writing on the wall, and refuse to release the power and the story in of our identity. God has been walking with us for a long time.
Yeah.
And but I'll stop there.
Yeah. What was Faith Bell's comment? She said something. Is the church authentically for us if we tap into these spaces? I think that's what it said. Something had to do with, is the church authentically for us if we have to tap into these spaces? If we are tapping into these spaces, and I think the answer for that is the church looks like what the church looks like when we create it. Right? The church looks like, and it has always looked like, our authentic selves, right? I think for me, and you all can correct me or chastise me how you feel, I think for me, we have begun to move into more places of assimilation than to a self-identification and a self-affirmation, right? And so some of our worship practices, some of our, to be sure, some of our theology, some of that stuff has been toxic and counterproductive for us as people. And to reclaim and to say, here's the important part, right? And I think this is what I was saying initially. Well, one of the things I put, here's the important part. We have to be good
with us,
with white folk not being good with it.
Oh, to be young, man. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to be good with us having and articulating and processing the space of theology, a healthy theology, right? A responsible theology, but the establishment not being good with it.
Right.
Because if nothing else, that's the model we follow.
Right.
Oh, to be sure.
That's what somebody need to talk about on Sunday.
Right?
Yeah. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, I don't mean to tie this in like, to get cheap or whatever, but that the whole point, the whole reason brother gets crucified,
come on,
is because he upsetting the status quo.
That's right. That's right.
And
right,
we so concerned about the white gaze.
Right.
And I mean, I like Faith's question because I think we have to also be honest and say this, Faith, that if we are finding in this space, in this coalition, in this study, in these 12 weeks together, something that our congregations haven't always been able to fully give us, then we owe it to ourselves and to our people to name that truthfully, not as an indictment, but as information, as data, right? The Black church has been a site of survival and joy and liberation and resurrection power, and we don't dispute that, but survival and wholeness are not always the same thing.
Right.
And
right.
Womanism, what it has asked of us is to stop settling for survival when wholeness is what God has always intended for us.
Come on.
Right.
And so is the church authentically for us? I think the more honest question might be, which version of the church?
Hey.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
right.
Whose
And I think
church?
whose church? Right. And I
Right.
think that's what has me so excited about what we have done over these 12 weeks is because we are saying that this is the church, right? The
Right.
church as it has been handed to us, shaped by centuries of accommodation and respectability and borrowed frameworks that were never built with us in mind. That ain't our church.
Right.
Or, or are we talking about the church as it was meant to be, a community of liberation, a full personhood, of coming home?
Yeah.
And so I'm excited about like what we have cultivated here because Dr. Bell, your question, Mama Bell, your question is the right question. Right? That is the right question, Mama Bell.
Right.
And I hope that we are giving it the answer that that plants the seeds for why this work becomes so important that we are doing.
Right.
And let me add this to it, because what I believe Mama Bell's question leads to is the importance of us understanding that popularity and numbers and all of that do not equate to impact.
Right.
The impact of authenticity and the impact of anti-alien theological approaches cannot be overstated, right? And so this study, this collective, this ethos, pathos, whatever, I think is important for our survival and thriving as a people. I want to say something right now so mad, but I don't know.
Say it.
I
It's
can't
the
do
last
it.
class this series. Go
Yeah,
on and say it.
but no, we like our witnessed recently how our theological approaches are killing us
Yes.
Right.
because of how we've internalized the masters and the oppressors ideologies that they don't even follow, right? Marimba Ani has a term in her book Urugu, which I ask each of you all to get. Urugu. She has a book called Urugu, and in it she talks about what rhetorical ethic is. Rhetorical ethic essentially is setting rules for everybody else that you don't follow. Ideologically, theologically, sociologically, all of those types of pieces. And we have wholesale internalized stuff that ain't ours. Deconstruction of that with an eye toward reconstruction of healthy theological, sociological, ideological, anthropological approaches, I think, is the effort of this collective. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Lori Stringfield Jeanette said, engaging in such a journey and finally a conversation into Dr. Lisa's book teaches us there is more to investigate about our church practices and us as a people and whole church. I'm interested in learning more.
Yes.
I think what we need to do, I think what we also have to do is because we kind of like are church nerds and church geeks, you know what I'm saying? I think we have to explain some of the jargon that we use as we move forward.
Yeah.
We gotta, explain what we're talking about when we're talking about what we're talking about.
Right.
Because it's second nature to us. We get it, right? But I think we need to wrap our minds around sharing you know, in those particular spaces, to be mindful that we're not dealing with scholar. There it is, Dr. Mitchell.
Dr. Mitchell.
Dr. Mitchell.
Dr. Mitchell.
Dr.
Unmute
Mitchell.
yourself. Unmute yourself, Dr. Mitchell. Yes.
I'm nervous to come into this conversation midstream because can only imagine what y'all been talking about. I can only imagine. I can
Well,
only
all you need to know is that it wasn't you. We weren't
Okay,
talking
cool.
about
All
you.
it was me. Cool.
Yeah, you in good shape.
Good evening, family. Good to see y'all.
Hey,
Mary Baker asked a question also in the chat. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Reg. Did you want
well,
to say
no, I
something?
was going to say, Dr. Jamie Edie refers back to something we just talked about. Thought it was an important statement. She says, yes, whose church? Because the enmeshment of whiteness and Christianity is strong.
Yes.
The
Yes.
attachment is strong, and a daily way of reflecting on how we are embodying whiteness and our understanding of God and faith is required.
Right.
That internal and external critique, thank you, Dr. Jamie, is extremely, extremely important in how we engage and moving forward, and how we critique our own understandings that we have, kind of internalized. So yeah, thank you.
I think one of the things that I want to just take a moment to place a pin and to emphasize, one, to give a shout out to all of those individuals who are part of our congregations who are committed to trusting us as we walk through this together.
For real.
And
For real. Thank
because
y'all.
what is extremely, I think, needs to be notable and from time to time needs to be emphasized is that any journey of healing is not necessarily pleasant always, as we discover, as we, for instance, in the work of decolonization, which is where I'm always rooting. Y'all know me. If you got a question, the answer is always colonization. That's my answer. That's always it. And as we're talking about the enmeshment of oppressive, white, supremacist, colonial threads of theology that we constantly have to pull to unengage from, that work causes rupture within the community often.
Right.
And I say that because whereas we tout this wonderful nascent project that we have engaged our congregations in by virtue of our relationships one with the other, I'm certain not only my congregation, but I can say my congregation did also experience the kind of rupture and the unraveling as we move to try to heal, reconnect, and return home. And that is also a part of the process. So one of the things that, to my mom's question, going back there to the authenticity of the church, it is a matter of us imagining and creating, and what womanist theology and wisdom has afforded us the opportunity to do as we are venturing out there is open ourselves to a new possibility of what it might feel like and be to exist as healed, whole, and intact agents of the kind of community that we seek to build. I know I'm rambling, but one of my favorite quotes comes from Dr. Dolores S. Williams. She says, and it's actually a life mantra for me. She says, I doubt as intensely as I believe.
Right.
And I think
that's good. That's good. That's good.
Vision of what it is that we're trying to do, the way of returning home, we also must hold each other into account, but hold each other tightly, that this is what community is about.
Right.
Man, you know, your comments might send me to cinema. And my favorite movie of all time. And there's a song in there that Luther Vandross wrote called "Can't You Feel a Brand New Day?"
Yes,
And
sir.
but if you look at the screen, what they are doing is taking the masks off that have been put on them,
Yes,
Right,
sir.
right.
Yes,
and they are
sir.
Everybody
trust.
look around because it's
Yes,
a time
sir.
of
Sir,
worship that's for
listen to
us.
me. Listen, that all them shoulders right there, right? But literally, and so wait, and so literally, what is happening is, and I thank you for saying that, Mike, because the folks with whom we are partnered are trusting us
Mm,
because not only us, but they feel that there's a brand new day.
Yeah,
indeed.
yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
What
Yes,
we
sir.
have experienced can't be all that there is,
Right.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's a everybody look around, right? In the
Right.
words of Mark, right? Yeah.
Mike, let me tag on to you for a minute, Mike. I think one of the beauties of this journey and our congregations entrusting us as we walk and as we learn and discern and be challenged ourselves, for me has been the interaction from New Hope of my senior saints, those who have been in
Yeah.
church 50, 60,
Hmm.
70
Yeah.
years,
Mm,
who I got texts from every Wednesday night
Yeah.
Mm.
talking about this is amazing. I
Wow.
didn't know that. I learned so much. Thank you for doing this. This is enriching. That probably is what blew my mind the most.
Right. Yeah.
Right. When
Yeah.
it could be easy for them to be like, this is what I believe for all these years, and this is how it's been, and I'm going to stay in this. They were willing to be challenged and go on this journey with us. That
Yeah.
to me, that's
That's
the
a
beauty of what
return
we did.
home.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a return
It's the
home.
call. It's the call. It's the call to it. It is.
yeah.
Jamie also said, learning and unlearning will bring grief.
Yeah.
New
Yes.
information means letting go of other ideas,
And that's hard.
identity, and community.
That's hard.
Right. And it's not easy. And it's grief. And it's
Yeah.
grief.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
says that's the kind of work that she does. She helps people in new processes and new spaces. I'm not trying to turn this into a preaching moment, but
Yeah.
Sunday, we're looking at Luke 24, right? And we're looking at the women going back and telling the story,
Come
right?
on.
And it says that they refuse to believe,
Eh.
right? Because they saw it as nonsense,
Mhm.
right? That
Mhm.
this whole idea of, well, just because somebody can't handle the truth doesn't mean you stop telling it,
Yep.
right? You can't stop telling it just because it's uncomfortable for people, right? Or
Right.
people are, because here it is. People make the decision
Mhm.
not to receive it,
That's right.
right? Because in the text, in the Greek translation, chose not to believe means it is a choice, that they chose not to believe it, right? It was a conscious decision to say, yeah, we heard that, but we are refuting that. And there's a whole lot of reasons why people do that, right? There's a whole lot of people, right? Sometimes it's the messenger, right? Sometimes it's the person who bringing it. Sometimes it ain't the right season, all those other kind of things. But the reality is that you can't stop telling that truth,
Right.
even though everybody's not ready, because it's real to you, right? That's the space. And what I think we've done, and I hope we've done, is we haven't what we did not try to do, and I think we were intentional when we talked about a returning, right? What we did not try to do was talking about taking away anything from anybody,
Right.
right? We weren't talking about taking anything away. We were talking about, which is a longer road, but we were saying, if you look at what you do, it is connected to those people that you are related to, right? That thing still blows my mind, that you are related to across the water.
Yeah.
Right? You guys understand, wrap your mind around this, people. I said this before, I'm gonna say this again. When your ancestors who came to the United States got captured, got sold, got traded, got whatever, their aunties and uncles and brothers and sisters didn't die off. Their lineage is still there. Yeah. Right? So you have not only a spiritual connection, you have a biological connection to that continent and to that space.
At the cellular level.
DNA. I say what?
Right.
At the cellular level.
At the cellular level, right? You are still connected. And what this system has tried to do in every aspect, from the government, from the financial status, from the educational, and to the spiritual, has tried to erase that from your sense of knowledge and sense of being. And what
but the body keeps score.
Right, right. And what we have tried to do, and what we believe the assignment of the church is to not only talk about how this thing looks as how we live it, right, in terms of community, which is the Afrological idea of community and church, but how we talk about how you identify and reconnect, right, with the true sense of what your faith was about, and that is liberation, community, and empowerment. And how
and I just wanted, Sister Mary Baker, I think Dr. Smile just answered your question that you had in the chat. Your question was, and you tell us if we didn't, if you need us to go a little bit deeper. Your question was, how do we help people see that this is not a white man's religion, but that we have been there since the beginning, right? And I think Dr. Small has done a pretty good job of answering that. And so I just want to add, so when people see, when our people sit in a pew and feel like they're practicing someone else's religion, that feeling may not be inherently wrong. That feeling is a signal, it's data, it's telling us that the version of Christianity they've been handed has been stripped of the very culture, or there's an attempt to strip it of the very cultural memory that would make it feel like home, right? And so our work, as Dr. Small has said, is to give that back. Not to add African identity as a supplement to our faith, but to recover what was already there, to help our people see that when they pour libation, when they call ancestors, when they bring their full African selves into the worshiping moment, wherever you are worshiping, that you are not bringing something foreign into a Christian space, but you are returning something that was taken.
Right.
Malcolm X said, "You don't take kittens out of a litter.
Kittens that are born." Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Put them in the oven and call them biscuits.
And biscuits, right? Kittens that are born in the oven, you don't call them biscuits. Right. They still kittens.
They're still kittens. You don't take Africans out of Africa, put them in the oven called America, and call them
because nobody else does it. Nobody else does it. We are the only ones who are called. We are the only ones who are demanded to forget. We are the only ones who are demanded to forget. We just passed March, where everybody, including Negro, wear green and talk about "kiss me, I'm Irish." Black folks wearing green and big hats and what the things called?
Shamrocks
and 4-leaf clothing. Black folk. But to take those same folk and say, embrace your Africanness, right? Michael Elam talked about the difference between Afrocentricity and Afrocentricity, right? Afrocentricity is what you put on your body, right? That's the suit, that's the shirt, right? Afrocentricity is the internalization of how you operate, right? How you look.
On and in. I like that. O and I like that.
Right. You know, that's all. That's what's on you, right? You know, so I wear kufi. That's Afrocentric. You know what I'm saying?
He a Sigma. He kind of smart. Okay.
Hey.
Hey, look.
Watch yourself.
Let me add this really quick, Mama Baker. Let me add this to your question as well too. One, recognize wherever they're worshiping, if they feel like it's a white man's religion, I would question the context of that church. Is that church rooted purposefully in being an Afrocentric church? Number two, I would ask, who are they in conversation with? Who are you reading? Right? What books are part of your study as that church? But part of the problem we have as Black folks and as Black church, we don't read Black folks.
Right.
Come on. Right? We will go get. Come on. We will go get what's a mean lady? We'll go get Joyce Meyer's book, right? We'll go get Paula White's book. We'll go get Monroe's. We'll go get everybody's book, but our book. written by
Paula
us.
White. We're gonna get Paula White's new space. Paula White got a new piece.
But,
Joseph Prince.
but we won't get books written by us, trained Black folks,
Right.
Black folks. We won't even go get their books and read them to help us understand the very roots and authenticity of Christianity for us as Black folks. So I would just add that to the conversation.
Can I say this too? I want to add this piece because I'm seeing some of it in the comments, and this is not directed at anyone, but it is for everyone. One of the things that I think is important is to stop separating, bifurcating who we are culturally with who we are spiritually.
Yes, sir.
Right.
It is one.
Right.
And so an African-centered connection piece is also spiritual. It's not an either or, it's a both and.
Right.
And the separation of such is one way that white supremacy still works in us to be able to say, oh, I'm Black, but I'm da-da-da. No, it's all one.
Right.
It's all one. It's all one.
That word that folk love to use, WHOORL, the world. When it's in the world, it's in the world. I ain't in the world. I'm a spirit. I ain't in the world. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, your spirit is in the world, but it's all the same thing. It is operating in the same space, right? And how we operate, how we identify, how we connect, man.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead, go.
There, because you had made a comment earlier with regard to as we continue to engage in this journey together, that it will take for us to slow down from time to time, so that people can be clued in, that people can be drawn to, that people can understand. One of your favorite segments in pedagogy is making sure that the playing field is level set, because we have to agree on the definitions. Right. So that's one of the things that you do well. And I think that, again, I go back to this piece of the trust of our communities as we walk together, and the courage that all of us are displaying as we walk together, is we really are doing the work of confronting these pre-established ideas which have been separating us all of this time. Just as you said, there's no difference between who I am as spirit and who I am embodied. Right. And I can't recall who the writer is, but she in psychology deals with this idea of haunting, and how when we are shaken, when we feel these moments of apprehension, when we're getting close to something that is in fact familiar to us, but because we don't know how to interpret that innate reaction and response is fear. We constantly have to remind us that we are a people of spirit and have long been. So we shouldn't be afraid when the spirit starts haunting us. Haunting is not scaring us. Haunting is when the ghosts stand up and tell us, now it is time for you to do. Now it's time to reestablish something, to create something that has indeed been different than the way in which you have been performing church in white drag all this time.
Yeah, in white drag. Wow. Did y'all see the video? Did you all see the video? And I guess we're gonna ask another question in a second. But did y'all see the video of the grandfather who is terminally ill talking to his grandson? Like, you got to find it. I got to find it for y'all. He is talking to his grandson. He is terminally ill. He says, but I want you to be strong. I want you to make good decisions. He said, and when you feel that thing in your stomach telling you not to, that's me. It was it was bananas. He was like, when you feel that thing saying, maybe I shouldn't do that. He said, that's gonna be me telling you.
My God.
Oh, that thing is. I wish I could find it. I wish I could find it.
Man.
It's a powerful move.
Look for it, man. Look for it. What you talking about? I wish. Find it.
Right.
Put it in the chat afterward. Jesus
Right.
Christ.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Now
It's
we
crazy.
are on, what is this, question 2? Where we
Right.
But you know what? The conversation has been healthy, and a number of the questions that have come up have been answered in this healthy conversation. I do want to ask this question: where do each of you see the distance between Dr. Allen's vision and where we are now? Like, as you know, as you all have talked about some of the things that you've already seen, some progress you've already seen in your congregations, but I'd love to hear like where you see the distance between, like, what do you see
So
as
who is we?
opportunity?
Can you define who we is? Who is we?
How do we see the distance?
No, so your question said, what is the distance between Dr. Allen's vision and what we see? Is we these 4 congregations?
Yes, these 4
or
congregations.
is we the larger kind of black church reality?
That's a bigger work. That's a bigger work.
Man.
Right. Look.
And
So basically, this is the last question. Is
You on mute. You on mute, Ed. You on mute, Ed.
You keep muting. Okay.
I'm saying these 4 congregations because, and let me tell you why I am saying that. Because it's not to the exclusion of anyone. It is to our ability to, I think, demonstrate the possibilities, to give visual hope, to create a lane, to keep the light on, right? For those who are looking to find a way, right? And so when I say we, I'm saying starting with these 4 congregations.
So you're saying where's the chasm exists?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Reg.
No. I'm just getting clarity on the question. Where's the chasm exist between Dr. Allen's vision in the book and where we are as 4 congregations?
Yes.
I guess I don't know that it is, for me, a chasm. Because I think one of the beauty and the brilliance of Dr. Allen's book is a gift, because it was able to show all of us who are engaged in this study a mirror of who we are, and that we're really not that far off. We may have not known how to define things. We may have slipped into what I call axiological mutation, right? Where there are these threads of what they told us and who we are. But we're not far off, especially when we're able to recognize the displays that she documents in the book. And now we've got new language that is that we're able to agree upon. Now I know what liturgy looks like, but I understand why the liturgy is performed and practiced in the way in which it has been. This is not something I invented. My ancestors established an order to the way we come and gather.
It's in the blood, Reverend.
It's there.
Wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
There's a haunting on you. There's a haunting on you.
Reverend, watch your voice. Watch your voice, Reverend. Watch your voice.
I'm sorry.
No. Don't apologize. That's ancestors rising up in you, Reverend.
I think one of the gifts of Dr. Allen's work is that it does show us, here is this scholar, here is this practitioner, who does the work, engages the work. And here now she has copied down some notes as she has sat over there in the corner and observed us in worship. And she is just giving it back to us. Oh, this is who you are.
Yeah. And so then the work is, again, to help people, to reinforce, to help people see that connection and
embody it.
Yeah.
And to, because what do you do, or do you do, right? What do you do with those who, even when you show it to them, they say, I don't want to see it. Even when you show it to them, they say, I don't want to see it.
Well,
even when you show them they're doing it, they say, I don't want to see it. It ain't that.
Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't a question to me. I'm sorry.
No, it's a general space.
Is it a
what
free
does the
for all?
practice? Martin San says, what's the practice? Like, what's the practice?
Well, I don't know that you need do anything, because to me, this actually captures one of the aspects of Ebony's question, which is that when she was redefining that we're not talking about the Black church globally, we're talking about our congregations, right? One of the things that we are also in the practice of as we are embarking on this work is identifying and erecting healthy boundaries within the community. So I don't know that you have to respond to those who either are not ready, who wish to refute your embodied identity. If they find themselves, Lord have mercy, what's the language that they use in the Baptist covenant when you're out of fellowship?
Right, I can't remember, but
but that's the beauty and the freedom of community. Should you decide, and I say this, I'm sorry, because I don't know an answer. I'm actually really trying to pull, because this was an occurrence amid my own congregation. Now I'm putting out my business, right? Not operating with healthy boundaries, but in the exchange and in the deep dive of this material, there were instances where individuals could not accept these new understandings or new redefinitions or their come to Jesus moment.
Okay.
And the only thing I knew to do was to exhibit radical revolutionary love as exhibited by the Black barefooted Palestinian Jew named Jesus in the first.
Yes, sir.
And Mike, what was so important about that is where I was going with it, because what has to happen in creating that kind of space is that people got to know that even if I ain't there yet, I got safe space to be.
That's it. That's it.
Which is womanist, which is African, which is even if I ain't there yet, am I gonna be cast aside?
Right.
Because I ain't there yet, or because what I have internalized has been so inculcated in me that I'm still right. Do I have space? Here it is. Do I have space to ask questions?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Do I have space not to know yet?
Right.
Do I have space to grow?
Do I have space to grow?
Right.
Or do I got to come in knowing every damn thing because I got to be extra? No, because ain't none of us been there.
Right.
Do I have space? Ebony, can you speak to some of this? Because you ain't just gonna finna be here asking us questions.
No, you ain't.
And you ain't just finna be here back here. No, because particularly
the call.
Right.
Right.
Look,
we can be womanist adjacent, but you're the only womanist on the call. Come on.
You look like the Queen of Sheba. Come on.
Yeah.
Daddy that left me out here. See how she did
All peoply, as your shirt say.
So I often say this, and I think it certainly applies here. I don't think anyone can experience birth without discomfort, right? And so if we are uncomfortable with the curiosities that are now being unearthed, sit with the discomfort.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is you're being stretched, you're being pushed, and in that stretching and in that pushing, you're going to lose some things.
Yeah.
And when you begin to lose some things, you're going to experience some grief. And all of that is uncomfortable. But what happens in the end when you get through the birthing process is that something new and something greater comes through. Right. And so I want to invite any of us who are feeling discomfort as we continue, because this is the end of this 12 weeks. But as we continue to navigate this coming home together as 4 congregations, there are going to be times that we're all going to feel uncomfortable.
Right.
We felt uncomfortable in the study sometimes.
Right.
Each of us individually and sometimes collectively, because it's like, wow.
Right.
Yeah, am I doing this? There was discomfort. And so name the thing, name the discomfort, because when you name it, then you have power over it. So call it what it is.
Right.
I am uncomfortable. I am grieving this. I am curious about this. I have questions. This don't feel right to me. And let's have the conversations. Let's sit in the tension.
Right. And because you have to name the thing, right? You have to name the thing, right? You have to say, I'm uncomfortable, to recognize that there has to be transition, right? That's the whole, I hate to keep going back to Sunday, right? But that's the space, right? That in your transition, you don't stay the same.
Right.
You become something else, right? You're something else. Right? The story don't mean nothing if Jesus ain't changed.
Right.
Right? It don't have the same weight. It ain't the same story if he ain't different in resurrection. It don't have the same weight.
Right.
If I may, I would love to cite wonderful intellectual practitioner in her own right, Dr. Danny Bahuro. She recently published 7 strategies.
Reverend!
And in that work, to your point, Mark, where you're talking about us on Sunday, I am befuddled by what
that's a Negro scholar. He's
did you just cuss? Did you cuss?
I am taken aback by us not acknowledging, to Dr. Only's part, sit in the discomfort. Dr. Danny says it, stop rushing to Sunday when Good Friday requires us to do the due diligence and duty of witness and accompaniment.
Yeah.
And as all of us are walking this walk, this is a part of the process we're going to all have to acknowledge that sometimes, yes, sit there.
Right. Sometimes you got to sit in it. It ain't comfortable.
And here's what's unique about this, and this is what I also hope that each of us, not just those of us on this Zoom, but those who are in the Zoom room, those who are watching online, understand that you're sitting in it, but you're not sitting in it alone.
Yeah.
Right. You're sitting in it in community. And that means we don't have to do this inner work or this outer work alone, and being in a space where what we are building together actually sees us where we are and affirms our ways of knowing, affirms our spirituality, affirms us right where we are. And is willing to journey alongside us. You miss an opportunity if you allow your discomfort to make you shrink back into what's familiar.
Oh yeah.
Because
Oh my God.
because you abort the breakthrough that's on the other side.
Bishop.
Yeah.
You abort the breakthrough.
You
Right.
abort the breakthrough.
Right.
If you don't sit through it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Woo! That's
Right.
that's a whole and that's a whole lot of other different that's life, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
If you're not able to sit through the
But here can I push it just a little bit?
Push it,
Push
man.
it, push it.
That's
Can I
the
put-
challenge. That's the challenge with Black people. We do not want to walk in our freedom because it's uncomfortable and we don't want to sit there.
Yes.
Because there's something else on the other side if we trust it. There's something else on the other side if we trust it. But we think some of us, many of us still think we gonna make it if we follow the model of whiteness.
Yo, politics of respectability is still real.
It's still real.
Theologically, anthropologically, sociologically, ecclesiologically, all of these different ologies, right?
Right.
Can I add one more
Politics of respectability.
One more level, Joe.
too. Too many of our people are also waiting for a white savior to save us.
Yeah.
We waiting
or
on
white method.
We waiting on white Santa Claus. We waiting on somebody white.
Right.
Somebody white to save us.
Right.
So here is let me if I may.
Go, Dr. Bell. Yes.
Let me challenge us along the journey. Because one of the things that I think continues to happen is one of the things that's going to be necessary is for us to change our language.
Yeah.
I say this because, for instance, though we understand what it is we're trying to communicate, the language of white supremacist ideology and theology will have Black folks talking about other Black folks as if Black folks are falling short. While white fundamentalist theology gets off scot-free by not forming the very framework that our folks have had to endure and deal with in the first place.
So push that, Mike. What practice does that look like?
That looks like, instead of me pointing the finger about some Black folks, I am committed to the work of language that identifies the framework all Black people have to deal with, not just some of us who are in the know, some of us who have been delivered, some of us who have been set free, turning around and looking at other Black folk talking about some of y'all don't want to get free. Some of us have been so oppressed for so long, we are deathly afraid of a move to freedom.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's very real.
It will take for us in our own private dwellings, in our own community, to act like Harriet Tubman and say, no, Negro, whether you want to go or not, you're coming with me.
Right. Carry the pistol. Bring the pistol. Bring the pistol.
Yeah. Right. But I just really want to make sure that as we are doing this discovery, that we are identifying. My grandmama used to say, she said, and she used to say it, and my mama used to say it to us, that there are some folk who ain't gonna make heaven unless you carry them there.
Right.
And it is the divisiveness of white theology that seeks to separate us into groups.
Right.
Where those who are in the know, those who have made the transition, those who have received the revelation, don't want to commit the hard work of community. And that's part of it. Lord Jesus, we just lost Dr. Only. I didn't mean to holler. I'm sorry.
I don't know what happened.
Put him in C. Put him in C.
So that, I mean, that just marks for me a moment of challenge, because I was listening and I hear, and we know what we mean, but as we're trying to meter our language for our communities, here is an aspect that resembles coloniality,
Mhm.
you know,
Right.
in this separation between us.
Mhm.
And it goes back to the bifurcation of whether or not I'm Black before I'm Christian or I'm Christian before I'm Black. No, I tell folks all the time, I don't pastor a Black church. I pastor a Black community.
Mhm.
All of my folk ain't Christians.
Mhm.
I know that for a fact. And most of my folk know, you know, you catch me on the wrong day, I'm troubled with with it myself.
You say I'm troubled with it. I'm troubled with it myself.
You know, but
Right.
the one thing that I think this book has indeed matured within our congregation is this desire to want to exhibit the radical love that we espouse ourselves to, in making sure that we're breaking down the barriers that exist in community that were not even erected by us. They were erected by somebody else's stories,
Right.
somebody else's interpretations of what they deem to be Christian.
Yeah. And I think James Rivers said that we have to, he said it a while ago, that we have to talk about what ancient practices, what spiritual practices we have that we can tap into and reinforce and strengthen, right? So that we understand the power of that connection and the power of what ritual does. Somebody posted, they said, you know, they wanted to understand deeper the idea of ritual, right? And how that empowered. So in what ways, good people, do you think, how has your identity, I'm gonna ask this question, I'm off the hip. How has your understanding of ritual caused you to wrestle with what we are going to do further now in our spaces?
I'll say for me, I want to expand it. Right. So I know that there are some things that we've come into the knowledge of that we've always done and already are doing. And then there are other things that I would like for us to do. You know, I want us to do some altar work. Right. Stuff we do periodically, but not on a consistent basis. Libation work. Right. You know, I think there are some things that we are doing, but I think there's some things that I want to expand. I would love for us to expand doing at First Baptist Church of University Park.
Yeah, and I think it. I don't think it has to be. I mean, it has to be demonstrative, but I don't think it has to be complex, right? You know, so you know what I mean, and you know, or complicated. Maybe that's the word, right? So like Sunday, I had this move, right? You know, and I was talking about, you know, them waving palms and laying them on ground in front of Jesus as his entryway, right? And I talked about palms waving being a sign of victory, right? And so I say, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do the altar prayer at a different part of the service. So after I preached, so that people could hear what the palms meant, I invited those who wanted to come up and pray, and I just kind of waved the palms over their head as I walked around. You know, in space, you know, kind of laid palms on their shoulders, right? To indicate victory over whatever it is that's happening, whatever it is they're dealing with, whatever it is they're struggling with, whatever it is the tension is that they are feeling, to understand that victory is possible, right? And it was incredibly impromptu. You know, it wasn't about, you know, I had, you know, I found it in the book or something like that, but it felt like connection. It felt ritual, you know what I'm saying? And that, you know, I think there were people who appreciated it and spoke to it in terms of it having meaning, which is the whole damn point, right? Like it has to have, people need to walk away feeling like there was connection or there was meaning or there was something transformative about it. And I think that's what we need to keep in mind, right? We need to keep in mind that the worship space, as we talk about, right, as pastors and spiritual leaders, the worship space, the responsibility of the worship space is to create the connection, right? To use Denzel Washington, Man on Fire. Our assignment is to arrange the meeting, right? Our assignment is to set the meeting. Dr. Michael Elam said it was ritual. It was nature ritual. Okay, hey, there you go. All right. So, all right. So,
And the creation of such,
right,
like
right.
it
Yeah,
ain't. It's ritual created.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
And but our thing, our role is to say, how do we, when people leave our space, the space of worship, to say, I had an encounter with the Spirit today.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what worship ought to do. That's what the assignment and the responsibility of creating the worship space ought to do. Right.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily about, and I think y'all would agree, I don't think it's necessarily about getting people to shout. I think the shout is the demonstrative action of the connection. Right. And so whatever happens in the connection happens in the connection. Right. But and we create space for that. But I think that our assignment is that how does the ritual we are presenting on Sunday help people connect and feel like they have had an encounter with the divine, right? And how do we and the responsibility to do that every Sunday, right? I was telling a Bible study class at my noonday class. I said, in my former church, I have stopped the worship on Resurrection Sunday. I said, wait, what we doing, right? Why are we singing "He Died for Me"? This is not the day for that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
not that you was one of them pastors.
Lord.
Lord.
I had to say, wait, whoa. Why are we singing He Went to the Cross? What are we doing? Why are we singing a song about the cross on Resurrection Sunday? You know what I'm saying? We have to be mindful of the stuff that we're creating when we talk about ritual and how it looks.
Yeah.
So I think that's our responsibility.
Indeed.
Yeah, I would say what this journey has done is given me a different relationship with ritual itself. Like I used to experience liturgy mostly as the structure, as like the container that holds the service together, and that's because I'm looking at everything through this lens, right, of an executive pastor when I'm sitting in worship, right? What is the container doing? But what has helped me understand is that ritual is not the container. Ritual is the theology. What we do with our bodies on Sunday morning is making a claim about who God is and whose humanity is sacred every time, whether we're conscious of it or not. And so once you see that, you can't unsee it. And so what's changed for me is the quality of attention I bring to what we do. I find myself sitting in worship now asking different questions, not just, is this good? Is this moving? But who is centered here? Whose story is being told? Whose body is being seen? Whose spiritual inheritance is being honored? And who is being quietly erased? Right. So those are different questions for me now. And those questions, those questions are now the questions that I sit with in work in almost any worship service that I attend, not just at First Baptist, but when I attend other worship spaces, I'm also asking now those questions. And whether and how that translates into what Sunday morning looks like is, I think I'm not necessarily arriving with answers. I'm just arriving now with better questions. And sometimes that's the most important thing that we can bring to any experience is our curiosity.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
That's
and I
good.
think that's what womanism looks like, right? And the way womanism shows up in our worship experiences and expressions is this unbridled curiosity for those seeking and searching those who have been overlooked. Right. And man, it's a thing of beauty, man. I'm sorry. I ain't got nothing to say. That I was just amen in what you were saying.
I'll share this. When I baptized a few weeks ago, in the midst of reading this book, that ritual of baptism was so different, and really understanding it as a ritual, right, and not a ordinance of the church. and then B, the congregation singing "Wade in the Water" a cappella from singing it a cappella just hit really, really different because of the time that we had spent reading and understanding ritual, right? And how this particular act connects us all the way back to the motherland, right? How this really is a connection of who we are as members of the African diaspora. It was just a very different experience. And Reverend Ebb, to your point, the question for me was every time we baptize, how do we make this an experience for even those who are not being baptized to have
Mm.
a spiritual encounter
Yeah, yeah,
with the
yeah,
Creator?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
The encouragement is, it's like, let's use the example you just used for baptism. The encouragement is, you know, everybody remember,
Mhm.
right? Remember when you were there. Remember
Right,
your
right, right,
moment.
right, right,
Remember
Yeah.
your
right.
baptism. Take a minute to remember. You know, not just stand there and watch and see how they gonna act when they hit the water, right? which,
Well,
which
that
which
is a
becomes part of
concern.
the game,
Yeah, that is a concern. Yes.
right? Right. Not just see how they look when they hit the water, but what is the memory, right? Of that, and hopefully what we believe is a very fine place for you to return to,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
In your collection. Yeah. So I think yeah, it has caused me. I've always been sensitive to it. I think to Dr. Only's point, I think I've always been sensitive to it, but it's caused me to, say, how is this helpful? Right.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, how is this helpful? Not to just do it, right? Because we operate in those spaces of rote, right?
Yep.
But how do we, even in, I think even in, and I think all of us do it, but even in our preaching, right? Like, what is the help, right? What is that? What is the hope, or the sense of connection that people can identify?
Mhm.
Um, has your preaching changed in this journey, or at least how you approach the text?
Yes. Mine has.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mine
Okay. I
has.
think I think what I try to do is incorporate spaces of ancestral memory, even if I don't say it, right?
Mhm.
This is ancestral. This is connection. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? This is about remembering, spaces of remembering and things of that nature. I think I'm more conscious of that.
Mhm.
If the text allows it. I don't try to force it, but I think, if the text allows
Yeah.
That's
But
good.
we have 4 minutes left, and I wanted to
4 minutes, Dougie? Okay.
4 minutes, Dougie.
6 minutes,
Uh,
Dougie.
I
Six
wanted to
minutes.
give each of you 1 minute uh, to close out with whatever you'd like to leave each of our congregations with. What are your closing thoughts?
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead. Do it because your mom about to leave. So go ahead. Hurry up. Quick.
I leave the words of Dolores S. Williams. That is that it is okay, it is healthy um, to doubt as intensely as one believes. That is
Mm.
my estimation, the place and space of faith.
The
In the
place and
midst,
space of what? You use your preacher voice again. Just place and space of what?
the tension is the
Uh-huh.
place of space,
Of
is
space.
the space of faith. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I see it. How about you, Dr. Mitchell?
First, let me say thank you for being in community with all of you and the fighting and the arguing and the wrestling that we do as family. I'm sure people who have been watching us for the last couple of weeks have probably figured out we do a lot of fussing amongst each other. But it's very healthy, right? And it's all for the purpose of A, making us better, and B, making us better for our congregations and the work that we're trying to do for the Creator. This has been amazing. This has been great. It's been healthy for my church. It's been great for New Hope. They've been asking for weeks for more. Where are we going after this? So that's something that obviously we need to contemplate and come back with some ideas on how we continue this conversation and this growth together. Lastly, I will say this. I'm hoping not only myself, but all who have attended will now have what's the term? A hermeneutic of suspicion, right? They're
Yeah.
really going to read in the text, they're really going to read scripture differently and really investigate it and interrogate it, right? We're going to go a lot further than just what's on the page, right? We're gonna go deeper. We're gonna understand politically, contextually, socially, all of those things that make scripture what it is. We're going to really do that deep dive so that we can be better in the work that we do. I think we've seen enough of scripture being abused. How do we use it to set people free?
Mm-hmm. I'll say quickly, I have been nothing but blessed by this connection. I've been nothing but blessed by this fellowship and for real grateful for a lot of different reasons. One is to be reminded that I'm not crazy, that there are other people in the world who operate and think in this space, and to really support each other in finding and giving people permission and the knowledge and the information to recognize that their authentic selves are the best way to be.
Hey.
And that's a beautiful thing for me.
That's true.
I think for me, what I will leave with is twofold. I'm looking at a comment by one of the members of First Baptist, Sister Bridget White, and she said that she felt the connection through the story that was told.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that for me is a kind of mantra for everything that we're doing, that our people feel the connection through the stories that I told. So thank you, Bridget, for bringing that up. That's number one. Number two, I think what I would leave is through the words of venerable ancestor Howard Thurman. Um, there is something in every one of us that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in us.
Mm-hmm.
And if we never hear it or heed it, it is better that we've never been born.
Mm-hmm.
Or if we hear it and don't heed it, it's better that we've never been born.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The sound of the genuine in us is worthy of not only exploration but affirmation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I think walking through this study with each of our churches, with our womanist warriors, with Dr. Allen, and understanding that eyes have not seen and ears have not heard what else is going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
provides Marcus Small's favorite word, possibility.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Yeah.
possibility.
That's the word. That's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
I'm grateful for the possibilities that exist. Yeah.
Well,
Dr.
thank
Only,
you.
we
Thank you
can't,
all.
you have to be a part of community. You just
You
can't.
ain't lying.
What
You
do you
can't.
think?
Yeah.
Can't sign off and say goodbye. And come
Right.
on, stop playing. Stop
Yeah.
playing.
What what I will say is 12 weeks ago I showed up to this series the way I show up in most things, prepared and present, but if I'm honest, a little guarded, holding some part of myself back, not sure how much of my full self this space could hold. And not because of who you all are, because you all have always called me into community. And I have the highest degree of respect for you, for each of you. I've just been in a lot of rooms in ministry, a lot of coalitions, a lot of collectives, a lot of conversations about what the Black church needs to become. And this one has always felt like home, and has always felt different for me. Um, and so what I would say is, Dr. Allen gave us a text, but we gave each other witness. And I will carry that witness back into everything that I do. I want to like truly thank Dr. Allen for writing a book that told the truth and for being with us those first 2 weeks. But more than that, I want to thank our congregations. People at First Baptist Church at University Park, at Peace Baptist Church, at New Hope Baptist Church, at New Calvary Baptist Church, because you all trusted your pastors to go somewhere new and to bring something back worth having. And that's why this really matters. And so I truly want to thank each of you for trusting the process and coming along for the journey. And I want to say to each of you, whether this is your first time joining us or you've been with us every single week, you were made for this. Not for this series, but for this becoming. The returning home that we have been talking about for 12 weeks is not a destination you arrive at and unpack your bags. It is a direction you choose. You got to choose it again and again. Every time the world asks you to be less than who God made you, keep choosing it. I believe that the journey of a lifetime is to become who we are and not just, and I think we're just getting started with that. So that's my 2 cents.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Well, all right, y'all. It's been good, man. I'm gonna see y'all on the other side of the moon.
Absolutely.
Hey.
Always.
Hey.
Always.
Resist.
Yeah.
Peace.
All right. Y'all be well.